Hello. Here's part 2, the plant it and forget it part. These buckets on this gutter were filled last Thursday. So they've been sitting here for 4 days. Didn't have to be 4 days, but yesterday we had rain all day and all afternoon, so I didn't really want to work in the rain. So I'm out here today where it's sunny, a little cooler, but sunny. First thing, other than letting your mix sit for 2 or 3 days, you want to check to make sure that it's wicking properly. And the way to do that is to, the top is usually dry. It's not dry right now because it did rain yesterday, but you just take your finger and you poke it down in there. I keep thinking my husband told me I should wear latex gloves and pop the glove as I'm checking for moisture. But anyway, that's terrible. That's really bad. It's wet down in there, moist, not terribly oversaturated. So you're going to dig your hole, and this is a pepper plant. It is a Mamma Mia Giallo, or Giallo, however you say that. And I like to stake my eggplants and peppers. So before I actually put the plant in the ground, I'm going to take my stake and put it in, not in the center of the hole, this side of the hole. And the reason I do that first rather than later is because you don't want to stick your stake down in and possibly injure the roots of the plant. So take it out of the net cup. By the way, I use these net cups for all my seed starting, and they were phenomenal. I love the net cups. Now I've got a lot of little leaves here, and they're going to end up touching the soil, possibly even being below the soil. So I'm going to take those off. And interesting, I want you to look at this plant. This is one that I always top out my peppers when they get 6 or 8 sets of true leaves. I go in and I snip out the very center, and what that does is it allows the stem to get nice and firm and strong. This probably doesn't even need a stake because it's strong, and it also creates a lot more branching, which means you're going to get a lot more fruit. And look at the branching. You can tell way down here is how tall it was when I clipped it, and look how it branched out and how we're branching here. And this is another thing. Can you see in closely? Okay. These little round balls are future flowers. And I don't want them to flower yet because I want it to get bigger and bushier and stronger before it gives me pepper. So I take them off. All right. So we're just going to tuck this down in the hole. Now to hold it to the stake, I mean, you can use all kinds of different things. I love these. Found these a couple years ago when we planted our grapevines. They're called ag ties. And if you can see on the ends and the holes, they're adjustable. And this is not going to get to be huge, so I don't need this great big long tie. So I'm going to make it a twofer. Cut it in half. Oh. Now, normally we'd be done. And if that's all you're going to do is plant your one plant, then you're done. I, however, like to do companion planting, and I know there's a lot of arguments about that in the containers. Just saw one today. Somebody said, no, it'll take up too much room for the roots of the tomato plant or this plant or that plant. And not if you're using shallow rooted companions. And that's my opinion. So take it for what it's worth. I've never had a problem with it. These are some little onion chives. And I use them. I use bunching onions. I've used lettuce, basil. Borage is one of my favorites. Companions, there are all kinds of charts for companion planting. And borage is a wonderful one, not only because it's pretty and it flowers, but it's a deterrent for Japanese beetles. And if you've ever dealt with Japanese beetles, you want to deter them. I hate those boogers. They are nasty, and you have to go out nearly every morning and every evening and pick them off and drop them in soapy water, and they're disgusting, hard-shelled, creepy beetles. So anyway, I put my companion plant right there in the front of the bucket. And then, step 2, where's my water? Is to water it in gently. Not real gently. This hose pipe, I've got it turned down as much as I can. Okay. So, at this point, Larry tells you you need to add a ring of fertilizer. And he recommends 10-10-10. Bud's choice of 10-10-10 is the Stay Green, which I have that. If you want to stay strictly organic, Dr. Earth makes a pelletized fertilizer. The only one that I have been able to find, though, is the 555, so it's not as strong as the Stay Green. But you're going to put a ring of fertilizer just around the outer edge. Not up next to the plant, just around the outer edge of the bucket. And then you're going to add dry mix and fill it all the way up. If you watched my other video about mixing and filling the buckets, you'll know, or if you've done it yourself, you'll know that this is going to settle. So I really top it all the way up. You're not going to water this in. You're just going to wait until God does it with the rain. And then put your label in there so you know what you've got. Little trick on the labels. I have that somewhere. The only marker that I have found that does not come off is this one, and it's for gardens. I found mine at southernexposures.com, which is a seed exchange, and they have cheap plant tags as well. Anyway, I like this point because you get to plant it and forget it. The only problem is I have to do this, well, at this point, about 68 more times before it's all done and I can truly forget it. As Matthew McConaughey says, all right, all right, all right. But in Alabama, they don't say it like that. Lived here 17 years, so I guess I need to be a true Alabaman and say it correctly for them. So, all right. Y'all have a good one. The end.